day 40 of the war could have been apocalypse now, instead of which it feels like apocalypse postponed, because both sides have agreed to a 2-week pause, a ceasefire, while they try to work something out. The Americans have submitted a 15-point set of red lines via Pakistan, which is being considered, and the Iranians have submitted a 10-point series of red lines via Pakistan, which the Americans are thinking about. And President Trump said about this 10-point Iranian series of demands that he thought it was a workable basis for negotiation. That's very curious when you consider some of the things that are in these 10 points. One thing that's in these 10 points is an Iranian demand that the Americans close their bases in the Middle East and withdraw their troops. Now, this is a view of some of the main bases, not all of them by any means, but some of the main bases in the region. There are 40,000 American troops normally in the Middle East, plus the 8,000 or so extra who have arrived there in light of this particular crisis. The chances of the United States withdrawing troops, still less closing bases, which have been open for many years, is absolutely zero. They just won't do it. Another Iranian demand is that they be allowed to maintain their civil nuclear power capacity. And they've always said this. We want to be a civil nuclear power, and they say we have no desire to develop a nuclear weapon. Now, they've been lying about that for the last 20-odd years, and presumably they'll continue lying about it. But here's the other issue. In their main nuclear plants, these three were hit by the United States: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, not Bushehr in the south. They were hit last year. And somewhere in the rubble of those three plants, it is believed that the Iranians have got 400 kilos of highly enriched uranium, enriched to about 60%, highly enriched uranium. It may be under the rubble of Isfahan, maybe it's under the rubble of Natanz, maybe it's been split up into 2 or 3 tranches, or maybe it is underneath Pickaxe Mountain, which was built near the Natanz plant, and it's very, very deep, very inaccessible, and it's possible that the Iranians moved their uranium into Pickaxe Mountain before the attack of June last year. Either way, the United States is not going to get its hands on this 400 kilos of highly enriched uranium, whatever it says about Iran's nuclear ambitions for the future. But of course, the most immediate issue is the Strait of Hormuz. And Donald Trump has said that these straits will be released as of today, that the straits will immediately become open to shipping. The Iranians have said, well, they will open in the next day or so. But here's the big issue. The normal channel in the Strait of Hormuz goes like that, right around the straits and then along the Iranian side of the Gulf itself. But in the last few days, those ships that they've been allowing through have had to take a different route via the toll booth. And this is where they have to go north of Larak Island and effectively pay their tolls before they get out of the Gulf again. Because in Larak Island, the Iranians can take a good look at them. They could sink them if they wanted to. They can turn them back. And today, so far, day 40, all of the ships that have left the Gulf have been going north of Larak Island. So the Iranians are still operating their restrictive policy so far. If in the coming days they go back to the traditional shipping route, that will be a relief, but it's by no means guaranteed. Donald Trump can make lots of differences in the world. He can influence many things. One thing he can't really influence is Israel's war in Lebanon. The Iranians have said that all fighting must stop. But the Israelis have made it very clear with the most extensive attacks today on Lebanon since the 28th of February that this ceasefire is not to them. They actually will carry on with their war against Hezbollah in Lebanon, whatever happens in the Iran-United States arrangements. Which leaves President Trump claiming victory. He says that we have been completely successful diplomatically on all fronts. Well, if we look at all the things that the President has said over the last few weeks about what America's aims are, and they keep changing, but if we put them all together, the fact is not one of those aims has been unambiguously achieved. And some of them are in a worse state now than they were before he started. So he can claim victory as much as he likes, but the rest of the world, and quite a lot of people in America, probably won't agree with that as they consider the implications in the days and weeks ahead.